Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. We have some very interesting news for you today about Donald Trump confessing to his crime he committed on January 6, 2021. He made the confession at a rally in Conroe, Texas, on Saturday when he addressed his supporters. Addressing his supporters at a rally in Conroe, Texas, Trump said this quote, "If I run and I win, we will treat those people from January 6 fairly," Trump told the crowd. "We will treat them fairly, and if it requires pardons, we will give them pardons, because they are being treated so unfairly." Unquote. Then Trump said this quote, "If the Vice President, Mike Pence, had absolutely no right to change the presidential election results in the Senate, despite fraud and many other irregularities, how come the Democrats and Reno Republicans, like wacky Susan Collins, are desperately trying to pass legislation that will not allow the vice president to change the results of the election?" Trump told the crowd that he wanted Mike Pence to overturn the election, but he didn't. Now, Trump is calling for Pence to be investigated. First of all, Trump lied. There were no fraud and irregularities in the 2020 election. In Trump's own words, he said that he wanted the election overturned by Mike Pence, to plan a coup against the United States government, and declared him the winner of an election he lost to Joe Biden. Trump claimed the election fraud was a sham. The 60 cases he filed about election fraud were tossed out by the courts for lack of evidence. In fact, Trump and his cronies were the ones who were committing election fraud. We now know there were 80 Republicans who were involved in the voting fraud. Trump had fake electors from 7 states: Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, New Mexico, Nevada, Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, who cast fake votes for Donald Trump. 14 of the fake electors were issued subpoenas by Congress for their crimes they committed. Addressing the Federalist Society conference in a speech yesterday, Mike Pence said this quote, "Trump was wrong that he had the power to overturn the election, but Pence told the gathering that he had no power to overturn an election. His job was to count the vote that has been certified by the Electoral College in Congress." Unquote. Pence continued, he said, quote, "The presidency belongs to the American people, and the American people alone." Unquote. Trump was asked by the Supreme Court to submit his plot memos and documents to Congress January 6 bipartisan committee investigating the mob insurrection on the Capitol by his supporters. The court said he doesn't have any executive privilege, so he can't keep those documents secret. So Trump did this. Some of the Trump White House documents that were handed over to the House Select Committee on January 6 by the National Archives and Records Administration were reportedly torn up and taped back together. The Presidential Records Act requires that all records created by presidents be turned over to the National Archives at the end of their administrations. So Trump had no right to tear up these documents. It belongs to the United States of America and the American people. Former President Trump had sued to stop the committee from being given certain documents, with his attorney claiming it was illegal and that Trump wanted to preserve privileges over certain documents. However, earlier this month the archives turned over more than 700 documents that Trump had sought to block. On the evening of January 20, the National Archives and Records Administration provided the Select Committee with all of the documents Trump was trying to hide from the American people about what he did. Now that Trump has spoken the truth for the first time in his life, admitting to his coup plot to overturn the election results that he lost so he can remain in office, what is the Department of Justice doing to arrest this deranged and mob ex-president who continued to spread lies about 2020 election he lost by 8 million votes to Joe Biden? After hearing Donald Trump admitting to the crimes he committed on January 6, 2021, it is time for Merrick Garland to arrest Donald Trump for his crimes he committed while in office. We heard him calling for a protest if he is locked up behind bars. Calling for a massive protests is a hint for another insurrection? Wake up, Attorney General Garland. If you like this video, please subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching.